Good evening and welcome everyone. First of all, I wish everyone a very happy International Women's Day. My name is Ramsha Anwar and I, along with Sayed Abid, will be your hosts for today's event. I'm a first year BTech student and a team member of Events and Logistics team in ECEL, which is an initiative under the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. IIC-Jamia Millia Islamia is an organization that strives to impart knowledge and about entrepreneurship and startup. I welcome all the attendees to this event on the occasion of International Women's Day, a day dedicated to honoring women's great achievements in various fields. And keeping with this spirit, we will explore what entrepreneurship means for women. The emergence of women entrepreneurs and their contribution to the national economy is quite visible in India. Women's entrepreneurship has been recognized during the last decade as an important untapped source of economic growth. Today at IIC-CIE-Jamia, we are celebrating this day by focusing on women in the field of entrepreneurship with the theme Breaking Shackles and Defeating the Odds. For today's event, we have Ms. Sana Sharif and hello ma'am, and Mrs. Sonia Swarup Chokshi as our special guests who will share how they managed to beat not only odds but also stereotypes while becoming entrepreneurs. I hope that their inspirational journey will empower not only me, but all those people who are present in this event. We are also honored to have with us Dr. Simi Malhotra, the Director of Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Ms. Sana Sharif is a JMI alumni and is also the founder of the Beginning Foundation. The Beginning Foundation works for the social welfare of underprivileged women and children in rural areas of Uttar Pradesh. In the coming future, the Beginning Foundation aims to bring a sustainable change in the lives of those who have been forgotten by the world. We also have with us Mrs. Sonia Swarup Chokshi, who is a filmmaker and an entrepreneur. Sonia ma'am is a CEO and co-founder of Match My Talent, a platform for connecting people and information in the fields of art, culture, media, and entertainment. She has more than 15 years of experience as a director and a producer in non-fiction cinema and content creation. Ma'am is also the producer of an Emmy Award-winning American reality TV show. We are fortunate to have you both here with us, and I thank you for taking out your precious time to share your journey with us. And I hope our audience will also learn something insightful from your experiences. I would like to begin by calling Sana ma'am to share her experience with us.
Firstly, thank you, Ramsha. Thank you so much for the introduction. It was very kind. And I would just like to tell all of you how privileged I feel right now. Firstly, to be called over here. Secondly, to be sharing the platform with somebody like Sonia. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for having me here. Secondly, this is extra special because, of course, Jamia is involved. And just to be called here in itself feels like an achievement itself. And like you already gave an insight about what the foundation does, Ramsha, I would just, begin by telling a little further about the work that I've been doing. So the Beginning Foundation was actually a result of me just roaming around trying to find a way to help people during the first hit of COVID. I came across a lot of people who had lost their jobs, had lost their livelihood options during COVID. And I'm talking about a very small area in Uttar Pradesh. It's called Ambedkar Nagar. And I think during that time, I met so many women who were not as exposed as we are, who don't have, who've never been to schools, who never received any formal education throughout their lives. And yet they were in some way helping the family keep a roof over their heads, to be able to send their kids to school. And that in itself is such a big shackle to overcome for even us who have all the kind of, privileges possible. And then there are these women who are earning something as basic as 100 rupee per day or 100 or 200 rupees. And they're still, so full of hope, so full of life, so full of positivity that you kind of want to do whatever you can for them. So that was the basic idea of the Beginning Foundation, to give these women a platform where they can earn a little better than what they are doing right now. And the second thing that we are working towards is mental health, because there's a lot of awareness in our country, everywhere else, about mental health. But somehow we are still very backward when it comes to actually accepting it in reality, especially in rural areas. People would believe everything but mental health being real. They would go to tantrics, they would go to dargahs, they would, spend money, endless amount of money on things that they think is going to work, but nothing around mental health. So that's another thing that we are planning to do. Now, how to be very honest, I didn't really face any major issue while I was working towards it, or even now, just because I'm a woman. Maybe it comes from a certain kind of background that I belong to, or maybe somebody already broke the shackles, which is what I essentially want to talk about today. That, having conversations around gender equality, or how women should actually be accepted, and what women should or should not do in order to, be in the world in general, not just I'm not just talking about only jobs or something, just in general, being women, how we need to overcome this from ourselves. From the belief we have been seeing throughout these years about women are supposed to do this, they're supposed to get married by this age, are supposed to bear kids. I think it's more of a personal choice than anything else. And for us to define ourselves just in the already predefined roles because of our culture, religion, whatever it is, shouldn't be our defining points of life. The first thing that we need to overcome is the feeling that, we are not worth it, or we are not able to do this, or we won't be able to do. Women have been doing things for as long as we can remember. They have been fighting wars, they have been painting people, they have been doing everything that's possible. So just to accept that within yourself before we go out and blame anybody else should be the first and the most initial step to overcome everything. And I think I would continue more, but I think I would like somebody else also to just, Sonia, maybe you can continue from here and then we can.
Okay. Well, I'm. Hi, everybody. I was on mute earlier, but thank you for this opportunity for calling me here. I am not from Jamia, but very, very privileged to have this platform, and be. I've always dreamt of studying in a place like Jamia, but I didn't and I couldn't. But I'm very happy that there is something that I did, which has sort of given me an opportunity that I can share that with you. And Sana, I can't thank you enough for the beginning that you did, because really I get very scared of women related topic, because it seems to be leading to a direction that, okay, there is prejudice, and there is biases, and that women are suffering. But honestly, exactly like you, probably it's our good beginning and a good foundation. But I also haven't had any such experience where, like majorly, not like a big significant incidents in life wherein I could say that, okay, I was pushed to a corner because I was a woman, and then I had to do something. So I mean, wonderful to be on this panel where we already are at the like unanimous thinking. So my little introduction. My name is, of course, Sonia Swarup Chokshi. I come from a humble background from the city of Lucknow. I now currently live in Delhi, and I come from a family which has more men than women, and I have totally been spoiled by the men, totally been pampered by the men. So I have only grown up with men. So I have never had any difficulties being with men. In fact, I could have a difficulty being with women, but I don't have a difficulty being with men. you know and being in a city like Lucknow, the only thing that I can remember is that in a city like Lucknow, which is traditional and slightly bounded by more rules, purely for the safety, there were rules like we had to come back home at 7 o'clock, and maximum, and then it's ideal if we do not wear a jeans and things like that, right? But this is also around 97, 98, 99 when things were changing. So this is definitely not the 80s that we're talking about, right? And the only thing that I remember rebelling to was this, this idea of what to wear and what not to wear, though it was never imposed to me from my own home, but it was there generally in the society, right? So there is, so I mean, in conversation for today, breaking the shackles, I would say that a if you've got your family on your side, that's it. That's all that we need, right? Because the society is going to be varied and distinct and will have their own thoughts and processes. But if the family is with our side, you got it. But what if your family is not with your side? You got to take them on your side. you know it's not always. So that's where I feel that I did something that everybody in the family was not on the same page. They had their concerns, and their concerns were purely for my safety. So I had to just work enough to make their trust happen, for them to trust me that whatever I want to do and whatever I'm talking about, I know my stuff, I understand their concern, I am not going to rebel for the heck of it, and then everybody's on the same page. So yeah, I mean, on the topic of today, breaking shackles and defeating the odds, it's all in the mind. It really is all in the mind. It is not out there in the society. Whatever doesn't work for us from the society, we got to take it like a project. Okay, this is a project to be solved. Take it up, enroll people, bring in the people who matter in that conversation, have honest conversations, do whatever it takes to win their trust, and then the odd becomes the even. I guess that's what I would like to share. And Sana, I would love to hear you back.
I think that was, you actually said what, I was planning on saying, that, once your family and people around you are with you on the same page. And I think that happens essentially when you yourself are sure of where you want to go in life, what fights you want to take, what fights to pick, what not to. And it just becomes easier with that. It's easier for people to understand your perspective. It's easier for people to relate to the kind of thinking that you have. But I think another thing that we really need to work on is, we as women, we see each other at competition sometimes. We don't necessarily go out and embrace every every little win that of another woman that we see. It's, again, I think it comes from a background that you come from. But I think it's somewhere, it's in our heart, and we may or may not say it out loud, but it's very important for us to cheer for other women, you know because if our voices don't go together, it's very easy for our voices to just get disappear in the noises that come around. And I think the second thing is education. I think we all should really work on making sure that women around us are getting educated. I was reading somewhere that around 62 million girl child don't receive any kind of formal education all around the world, which is a huge number if you come to see it, because in various cultures, countries, whatever reason there must be. But I think women education is always the last thing on the priority list. A woman's marriage, a girl's marriage could be one of the top, but her education isn't. And I think this is a conversation that really need to stir around. I make it a point to, go around, ask my help, ask the people who come, whether they're, the cab drivers, the taxi drivers that I meet. I just want to ask them if they have daughters and how do they go to schools. If they don't, what is the reason that they are not able to go? How is it that I can help, or I can contribute to, make sure that a girl who wants to get educated is getting educated? Because at the end of the day, I think it gives a woman confidence, it gives any individual confidence to stand there in the society, speak for themselves, if they have something that they can rely on. And I think education being the topmost thing there, with the rising competition and everything. So these are my main 2 points that I wanted to keep: education and, yeah, making sure that you are able to do it.
Thank you so much, both of you. I really love how Sonia ma'am highlighted, the importance of family support, and what Sana ma'am talked about, finding your own unique strength, and how a lot of the problems that we feel, the barriers that we feel, are kind of more in our mindset than in the society around us. But so on that note, it would be really wonderful if the two of you could share your journey in, the problems you face at the start of your entrepreneurship journey.
I think for me, the biggest problem was I was doing a very comfortable job at Paytm. It was work from home during COVID. And I was used to the work. It got very comfortable. I just got a promotion. So I think for me, leaving that and accepting that, it's okay for me to leave this comfort and try something that I want to do, help people in whatever way that I could. Because I have the means, I have the voice that can be used by those who don't have it. So I think that the whole transition from leaving a job and starting something of your own, when you don't know where it's going to go, when you don't know if it's even going to work out or not, because it's a very tricky business. Like, if you start a startup, that's very different from starting an NGO or something that's welfare related, because you don't know the kind of response that you're going to get. There's already too much competition, already too many people doing this. So that being the biggest barrier. Then I think the second thing was, uh, all of this happened during COVID. Everything. So your hands are anyway tied, and because the kind of work that you're doing, and then you have to go around and you have to make sure that you're doing everything, keeping in mind the restrictions, keeping in mind your health situation, the situation of the people who are getting trained in my NGO. I have to take care of everything, and meanwhile I have to make sure that if they're working for me, they're also getting paid for it. And in the initial stages, I think that is the biggest issue, to keep a business running, especially with times changing so much. You don't know the next leg, you don't know what the next variant brings, you don't know when the next lockdown happens. So these are uncertain times, but sometimes when you know that the work that you're doing is bringing good in somebody's life, you kind of just want to throw in everything and just want to go along. So yeah, over to you, Sonia.
Um, so the entrepreneurial journey. Um, See, before that, when I was studying in the Lucknow University, it was a time when we did not really have a real university to go to. So Lucknow University was famous for mobs, for bombs, for various things at that time. And so there was a period that I really really wanted to study. I like, my visualization was probably something like what you guys have managed to have, was to have, like, just sit back in the classroom and let somebody bring it on, and I could soak it in. Unfortunately, that never happened for me. So like till 12th standard, I was in the army public school, so all competitive, like be the performer, be this, be that, good in sports, good in academics, all of that, and I was always average. I just managed to jump from one year to another year. That's about it, you know. And so college was something that I was looking forward to, but it didn't happen. So in the first year of college, I realized that I would be very suffocated to be in this regime for 3 years, even if it's my bachelor's. But no, I couldn't see myself going to the college every morning, sitting in the garden, trying to think of, like having a conversation with people. It, one day, 2 day, that's fine. Beyond that, I just thought that it's like so much of a wastage of my time. Not that I didn't like going out with friends, not that I didn't like any other thing, but how much can you do that? And I've got a whole life to look after that. So at that point, was the biggest thing that I did was to convince my family to send me to Mumbai at that time and age. So this, of course, I'm talking about 20, 25 years back. Things were very different. So for a girl to go from Lucknow to Mumbai with nobody known there was, of course, a matter of concern for my parents, but managed with whatever I could do to build their trust, right? And then when I moved to Bombay, this was, of course, I was not even a graduate, so I didn't really have any backing to say, hey, I am this and I've come for this. So it was like a re-beginning again, and which of course meant that you do odd jobs. But my brother had just put in a kira in my head. It, like, so my eldest brother is in the army. My second brother is a finance guy, so they're all in the so-called boring jobs according to them. So they actually thought that I am creative and I can draw and I can write. So for them it was very fascinating. So I had no idea, but my brother had said, maybe you should try advertising. I had no idea what the hell is advertising before that, like, or that it is something that, you earn with and you do that. But because that name came in, I went to Bombay and I started asking out that which are these advertising agencies? What happens? How do I get into advertising? So one step led to another. I found myself in Lintas as an intern, fly by, I got a stool to sit on, and this is your stool. Anybody calls you, go run, whatever. I mean, of course I laugh at it like it was like a chai pani pakadado type of job, but it was not that. But yeah, something like that, right? But it was precious for me. It was super precious because because I was so junior that nobody expected anything out of me. You know, so there was no pressure really, like the kind of pressure that being a founder and a CEO that I have today to run the show day. I had none of that. I could just laugh around that, move around anything. I had to write. I would write whatever I want. If I don't write it well, somebody will say, "Ha, theek hai, chalo, chalo, hato, hato, hato," and somebody will write it for me, and then I can look at it and say, "Acha, aise likhna tha. Okay, not bad." Like, so it was like super cool time. It was very short phase for me, but I loved it, and I made some brilliant friends there, and so the journey continued. So my stint in Bombay was short. I lost my dad very soon after, so I moved back to Lucknow. And now this is a very important, and the reason I'm sharing this is because this can happen to anybody. You know, what I'm pointing out is the dichotomy between our career wishes and the dichotomy of what life can bring to us. It can happen to anybody, right? So that's what happened. Like, I rebelled, I gained the trust, I enrolled people, moved all the way from Lucknow to Bombay, was totally, like winning the space, and at that time, like in 1920, like if you've got 20-30,000 rupees in your pocket and you're your own decision maker, it's super cool. Yeah. It's like, what else do you need, right? You got it all. And people are liking you, and people are saying, not bad, oh, I didn't think that you could do this. और क्या चाहिए ना, मतलब appreciation मिल रहा है, credibility मिल रही है, पैसे मिल रहे हैं, and you're growing and you learning every day. और क्या चाहिए? But that stint was small because my father fell ill. Now again I have a choice to sulk or to say, oh, abhi kya ho gaya, like at this time this is to happen and my career is at stake. But the way it came to me is that, well, this is part of my life and it's my dad, I gotta go, right? So I ended up everything, went to Lucknow. It took me an unusually long time. He passed away, so it took me an unusually long time to wind up Lucknow, take care of my mom, and blah 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 blah. Now this phase was the critical phase because this is where I was rising, and then suddenly it takes 2 minutes for people to forget you. You're out of the system, out of the system. There's somebody else who's taken over, right? Nobody waits for anybody, right? So before I could really build and come to a position where people could wait for me, I was anyways out of the system, and I was back in Lucknow, sarkari offices ke chakkar kaat rahe and all of that stuff, right? So at 2 years of my critical time when got split, so it was a re-beginning. I said, okay, now fine, right now when I got free from it, I, you know, I am a traveler at heart. I'm the happiest person when my feet are moving. You put me in one spot and I'm like, oh, okay, not the perfect thing. So I said, okay, now that a plan is not really laid out and I have to begin again, I might choose to move, and just keep moving because I somehow think the best when I'm moving, like the best scripts that I've written are in the car, you know, or in a train, or like when I'm moving, just me, right? So I decided. So actually, at that point of time, I took small jobs, which were like 3 months, 6 months. And the only promise that they had was that I would move, you know. So I went to Bangalore, then I went to Pune, then I went to Vienna, then I went to Toronto, then I went to Paris, then I came to Delhi, and all of that, right? That's the only thing I kept myself to keep moving. Not get attached, not get possessive, not get significant about anything. I just wanted to collect experiences, right? And by this time, I had quite realized that probably my life is going to be something where I have to restart again and again. I don't know why it occurred to me, but it looked to me that it's not going to be one of those lives where I can see my friends कि IIT गए, MBA किया, engineering करी, बढ़िया से sorted, you get to a job and you're enjoying the job. Either it was not me or not my destiny, but I didn't see that plan happening. So I said, fine, I will have a party out of this. I will make travel my way, because if I pack my bags, I'm out of where I was. So whatever didn't work, and it's behind me. And I'm open to go to a new place, and that's what I did. That's literally what I did for many, many years. And finally, I settled in Delhi because I found the man I loved, and I wanted he's here, so I just settled here. But on the career note, so this constant change is where it brought me to a documentary making profession. you know so the travel was a part of my documentary thing. Meeting people, which I was totally into, meeting people, understanding the stories was my thing. And not keeping the stories to myself, but wanting to tell those stories, because I relish that impact that it had on me, and why would I keep it to myself? So I would wanted to, tell you all about it. And that's when I found, oh, there's a medium to do that. That's like films. Bingo. So that's like perfect. Again, perfect match. So I came in Delhi and I joined a very small production house. It was called Men on the Moon Production. And on Men on the Moon, I was the only woman. So two men and one woman makes it a complicated name. And we did some of the best storytellings of the time. We had fun like how. The men moved to Mumbai, the woman got left in Delhi, and that's how the production house closed down. But the storytelling and documentary became my thing. I was super happy. I've always been happy telling the stories like that. So of course I moved from places. My my biggest, I think, my biggest journey in storytelling has been with the BBC, where I worked the longest time, where we worked on the mass media campaign to change the face of HIV/AIDS in India. And again, this is about 20 years back. So HIV/AIDS was a taboo at that point of time in every which way. So we worked and we created a format which was completely celebrity based. So because obviously celebrity की सब लोग सुनते हैं, और इतना sensitive topic लोगों को बताना है तो celebrity के through. So we just created this format where one HIV positive person was paired with one celebrity. The show was called Haath Se Haath Mila, and it was on DD. It was on DD because of the outreach. Oh man, I can't tell you how much fun I had in that, even though it was like such a serious topic. But serious topic को seriously नहीं लेने का होता है ना. मतलब उसको हमने भी इतनी seriously ले लिया तो फिर audience तो बोर ही हो जाएगी, right? So then on one side, there's Shah Rukh Khan hanging around, there's John Abraham hanging around, there's this Kapoor and that Khan hanging around, and then there is HIV/AIDS. So I had a choice to soak myself into HIV/AIDS or to have fun with the celebrities. So I chose to have fun with the celebrities, and the storytelling happened on the process. So this, remember I was talking about having frequent changes in life. So now imagine somebody has a damn good BBC job, producer, all of this. But I was shifted to Bombay to live in a den and to chase these celebrities to come on the show because we couldn't pay them the kind of celebrity money that it required, right? So we had to do, even BBC का नाम है सब कुछ है, but करना दूसरी तरीके से, so करने के लिए, so like people like me come very handy because we come with least baggage, कहीं पे भी डाल दो, कुछ भी कर दो, we're happy, So, so obviously BBC said, अच्छा Sonia, जाओ Bombay जाओ and then settle down there and get the celebrities on. From not knowing a single soul, I've never ever talked or heard or never even been followed. I'm not even a fan of any celebrity. I'm not obsessed with anybody. So from that state to go to Bombay and then look like, oh, I'm so interested in you, kind of thing, was like was a fallacy and a state change. But I did it, and it was my job. I did it for like good 6 months, and from living into Mannat to living into the cars of the celebrities, to being the best friends with their makeup and the driver. Like at one point of time, my phone had everybody's hairdressers, phone, makeup guys, drivers, cooks numbers on the phone. You know, so it would say so and so's chef, so and so's driver, and they were my news guys. They would tell me, "अब मैडम निकल रही है." हाँ, okay, चलो मैडम के पास जाते हैं. And then मैडम को बोलते हैं, "Ma'am, please come on my show," and all of that. So all that happened. We created history with that show. We had like 150 superstars on the show. All and definitely it actually brought the ground level impact. That is the time when HIV/AIDS started to become a policy difference. Like it came into the policies of what at the local level, at the governance level, people remotely need to know about HIV/AIDS. That it's not a chua chut ki bimari, and that there are structures to it, and there's ways to mitigate it. So at that time, apart from learning to work on bigger projects, to working with the celebrities, to talking on very, very delicate matters that you cannot fool around, it's somebody's life. You cannot be joking about it. To that, to making a work to that level that it actually causes a difference. Like it's not just a job for me. See that 30,000-40,000 rupees that I was getting, वो तो मुझे वैसे भी मिल जाता है अगर मैं कुछ नहीं भी करती तो. It's a contract, right? They can't really throw me out unless I do something really wrong, right? But then what's my conscience? Where is my conscience? What did I do in that time? And that was that impact, the kind of changes that happened. So that happened. Super happy that project got ended, then moved on. But by this time, I had done a lot of small projects, and my heart has started moving to performing arts. And performing arts, the reason what I saw even during the BBC tenure and all throughout was that people in the arts are driven by passion. There is no performing artist who, like, as a matter of strategy, chooses to be a performing artist. किसी के माँ बाप नहीं बोलते जा बेटा एक्टर बन जा. Because कुछ आगे होता ही नहीं है, nothing to look forward to, right? They can say अच्छा ठीक है कर लेना आर्ट अपने मन के लिए कर लेना, but IIT दे लो, or doctor बन जाओ. That's on the side, and that was the time 20 years back, and today also that's pretty much the time, right? But the person who is an artist cannot get their head out of it, right? Somebody who's got music happening here cannot get the music out, right? So I really wanted to change that. And on the other side, being producer and director on television, on some of the best events in the country, I could see that people are willing to pay money to get entertained. Like all our younger generation was saying, "ये क्या बकवास डीडी पे क्या बनाते हो, टीटी टाटा स्काई में क्या दिखाते हो, this is not our type of content, give us our type of content," right? We were willing to pay. So my point was that when people are willing to pay, why is that benefit not going to the people who are entertaining us? Why is it getting stuck with the advertisers and the channels? And see, this is what happens when you're in the system. You know it all. Like if you keep your eyes and your ears open, you can pretty much know it all, right? So I could see where the money was flowing. That's where I got along with my very, very close friend Vishwas, and we said कुछ करते हैं. So we were like sorted in our career otherwise. घर चल रहा था हमारा, ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं था कि कुछ करना पड़ेगा कि पैसे कमाने के लिए, वो हो रहा था. But now we said that whatever hours of the day we can give, let's give it in a way that we can develop something that changes the face of what we look and we are not comfortable with, right? So Match My Talent, my organization, we started with one landing page. At that point of time, I did not even know the word landing page. So it's like it was just a page for me. And in that page, all that I had written was that as an artist, if you're willing to collaborate, to change the way people look at you and change the way people network with you, let's talk. That's all. Then people started sending their name, email addresses. I was never a number person. I still am. 1,000 entries came in. Vishwas was like, Sonia, there are 1,000 people who have written on the damn landing page of yours. And I was like, yeah. So he said 1,000 people. Do you realize? I said नहीं नहीं इंटरनेट है कोई भी ऐसे डाल देता है अपना information. It's like not. So he said, come on, it's not like that. How will you validate that? I said, point है, validate तो करना चाहिए, मतलब किसकी बात सही है? So I called up all those 1,000 people. Over a matter of 4 days, I called up, sat on the phone morning to evening, and I just wanted to check: are you a real person? Have you filled in the information yourself? Did you read what I read, what I said? And really, it was very overwhelming because about 70% people knew what I was talking about. So, हाँ आपने वो लिखा था ना, तो बताओ क्या करना है? And I was like, shit, बताने के लिए तो मेरे पास अभी है ही नहीं कुछ, मैंने तो बस इतना ही बोला था, but आपने पढ़ा उतना? And they're like, हाँ, बताओ. So I said, okay, I'm going to get back to you on this, so hold it, right? And that's when it hit me that over something that I was dreaming and I was thinking, I just sent out a line and it mattered to people, and people left in their information. This is not funny. These are not Vela people who are just leaving their numbers anywhere, because I actually spoke to those 1,000 people. And that got me very, very furious. I said, no, now this is not just about me or my passion. I got my word out there. I've spoken to these 1,000 people. I've told them I'll get back to you. I better get back to them with a plan. And that's when I started building Match My Talent. I started looking into it deeper and deeper, that what is the problem of a performing artist and how are we to solve it. So like I said, the problem, and I guess a lot of you might be performing artists yourself, and you can validate this as I speak. The problem, like I said, one is that we are passion driven, so not a strategy driven. और passion का क्या करें? वो जुनून है तो है, उसको कहाँ से निकाल कैसे दें, right? वही passion है, right? दूसरी problem है कि passion तो है but structure नहीं है. जाना भाई करना क्या है, ऑडियंस कौन है, इवेंट कौन है, like not the kind of space, right? So a lot of this happened, which was advised to me when I began, that ऐसे कर लो, ऐसे कर लो. I just followed my heart and I said, doesn't sound right, doesn't sound right. And thank God that I didn't waste my time into that. So having gone slow, it's taken me really long to build what we have built today, but at least we didn't have to make any U-turns. At least we didn't have to like dump what we were doing and then अच्छा अब क्या करें इतने लोगों का. None of that really happened. So I think just the concept was the odd here. There wasn't a real simple way to crack it. That was the odd. We did not raise any VC funding. That was odd. Because I think we came from a generation जब हमें ये पता ही नहीं था कि अपने आइडिया के लिए किसी से पैसे ले सकते हो. So it was like idea है तो बनाओ भाई, दम है कुछ है तो बनाओ. So we come from that. So those were the odd things. And breaking the shackle is those first 1,000 people, who said, I heard you, I read what you wrote. Then the next 5,000 people, then the next 18,000 people, and then the next 27,000 people. I'm talking to you about the milestones that hit me, I'm not getting into the details, but they hit me, and now the 40,000 people. So now as a platform, we're moving on to blockchain, bringing the entire transparency and creator network control onto a performing artist. And none of this, trust me, आज मैं बोल रही हूँ, but मुझे इसमें से किसी चीज के बारे में कुछ भी कभी भी नहीं पता था. It is every day that I'm discovering something, and my only commitment is to just keep giving it back to the community. So that's about that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Very, very inspiring and just very fresh perspective. Also, Sana ma'am talked about how she left her job at a very comfortable job at Paytm, something that a lot of people must have envied her for about, and she had this comfortable job and this plan, and then you left it all. And similarly, Sonia ma'am came to Mumbai without leaving her college degree. Just so many, just not the typical cookie cutter mold life that you left. So this, your family must have opposed it, must have faced might have faced patriarchal mindsets. How do you think the other women, maybe you didn't, but maybe others do, how do you think that they can fight that, and they can basically get through that to build their own startups, their own life journeys, and someday also be like you? Very, very inspiring.
So, like you already said that, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Okay, great. Okay. So, when my family actually was on board the moment I told them that, I want to quit my job, I want to start this. But yeah, of course, there are people who always have something to say. Not, I necessarily didn't have to hear that, but when I talk to other people who want to, other women or anybody in general about their dreams and their hopes, I usually tell them to basically have a conversation. Firstly, with themselves about the main reason why they're willing to do what they are willing to do. And then, secondly, with people around, not everybody, of course, you can't go and convince everybody to be on board with your idea. It's very ideal, it's very, dreamy. It doesn't happen that way. There's always going to be somebody opposing the idea that you have. But people who matter to you, your immediate family, your friends, maybe a colleague or somebody that you take career advices from. So if they are convinced, I think the first milestone you've already covered. But more than that, I think you should be able to believe in what you want to do if you want to convince others, is what I've always believed in. So if you are convinced, and that always comes from having a purpose. So if your purpose is good enough, if it is uh, something that's so required, something that you believe in, something that makes your eyes shine and your soul happy, I think it kind of mirrors the kind of dedication that you're willing to put into that. And then people kind of come on board just by seeing you have that faith in what you want to do in life. So just believe in yourself and make sure that people around you, people who matter around you, also believe in your dream. So it's just going to be very simple once you've realized that there is something that you're willing to put in your 100%. Even I think the main reason why people hesitate from pursuing their dreams or doing what they like to do is because you're so focused on an output, on numbers, on figures, on success and failure, that we don't want to risk that belief or that idea that we have in our head. Once we move forward from that, from the output, and really focus on the efforts that we are willing to put into a thing, whether it works or not works, it's a different game altogether. But if you're willing to put in all of your heart, all of your efforts possible, I think everything else just becomes easier.
Absolutely. The first step is what is most important.
Always the first step.
Sonia ma'am, if you would also like to pitch in, would be wonderful.
What Sana is saying, totally 100% aligned to that. If I have to add, then the only thing that I can think of is managing the expectations. So, like what Sana said, that believing in yourself, being clear about yourself, having a purpose, being sure and having a conversation with self and the people who matter in that conversation, absolutely. But when we're having a conversation with ourselves, we have an expectation, you know, and when we're having a conversation with the others, we have an expectation, right? That expectation may or may not work out the way we envisage, the way we think about it, right? And that's where the heart breaks, right? And that's where we feel, oh, people are not with us. It's not a woman issue, it's a man and a woman, it's a human issue, I mean, आदमियों के दिल नहीं टूटते हैं क्या? Like what are we talking about, right? Like, I mean, do men don't feel career issues? What are we talking about, right? Don't men don't feel that parents don't understand them? Of course, all the time, right? So it's not really that, but it is an expectation that I, as a woman, feel that okay, my parents should let me do this. It's an expectation, right? It's a wish. होगा नहीं होगा क्या मालूम, you can try for it, right? So the thing that I would like to just add to that is that if things are not happening the way we want it, just internalize and look at it, that why are you so obsessed with that happening? You know, it will be an expectation. It will be that I will say that okay, people in the panel should all switch on their cameras, right? It's a wish, and if I say, oh, it's my expectation, and if they don't do, they're not being, respectable enough or anything. Now I can keep thinking whatever I want to think, right? But it may not happen. You all may not want to switch on your camera. Does that make you bad people? No, it doesn't. Does that make me a better person? Of course. Does it make me stop talking what I want to talk here? No, it doesn't. Right? So it's just an awareness that, okay, I had an expectation, it's not gotten met, never mind. Can I make another expectation? Can I make another wish in the universe and put it out there and go chase it? And then do whatever. And also, why people may not meet our expectation? Because they're not believing in what I'm saying. They're not convinced, right? So again, back to what Sana said, if you're very sure of what you want, karo, work towards it. Like ऐसे बैठे बैठा expect करने से नहीं होगा. Like, it may take whatever it may take and then work towards it.
Changing your perspective also, changing your direction and not staying on the path that you expect it to be.
Correct.
That's amazing. Well said, ma'am. Thank you for that. I also would like the audience, if they want to ask any questions, we are open now for questions from the audience.
Pucho. It's an interactive session.
I would, a very good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Adarsh Gautam. I'm a student of BA LLB Honors, Jamia Millia Islamia itself. And seeing you over here was really inspiring. Just learning about the stuff you went through and you did the things were really good. I, being on a personal note, ask, as I'm a pampered child, I have been always, what you say, a rich, spoiled brat kid kind of stuff. But I'm a responsible person now. I have been responsible since I've entered Jamia, and that has been around 2 years of my life. And I am on a way to do something good. But I'm just, there are always person who just pull out your legs whenever you take a step ahead. That no, you can't do that. अभी तो हम है ना, तुम क्या करोगे करके, अभी अपनी पढ़ाई करो, ये करो, वो करो. Like that. Like parents are always positive to the note, but sometimes they feel, what if he gets failed? He would be depressed, something like that. So how did you cope up with these things? Definitely, you must have also faced this thing. Like at some point, parents must have said कि अरे नहीं छोड़ो ना, क्या करना है, नौकरी करो अपना, कहाँ entrepreneurship और इन सब में जा रहे हो.
Yeah, I get that every day. What about you, Sana?
Early.
No?
No.
Okay, so the context in which Adarsh I get it is, I'm a workaholic. So when I work like 16 hours, 18 hours, to me it's not work. It's just exactly what I'm enjoying. But then the family would have concern about my health. सोते क्यों नहीं हो, खाते क्यों नहीं हो, ये क्यों नहीं करते, वो क्यों नहीं करते. अब वो ना reason out करना, like आपके लिए, it's that other thing that you want to do and people are saying क्यों करना है, you are taking care of, why you doing, so I think when the question is meeting other people's expectation, right? That's what the thing is, and meeting other people's point of view. Adesh, I would say that the way I have managed it is by ignoring it. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. I mean, ignoring it से मेरा मतलब ये है कि या तो मैं उनकी सुन लूं या मैं मेरी सुन लूं. ठीक है, बीच का रास्ता मुझे मिला नहीं है लाइफ में. Beach ka rasta, it has always given me procrastination time, which is my most unproductive time of life. Where I say, क्या करूँ आदर्श ऐसे बोल रहा है, क्या कर सकती हूँ मैं, ta. So put it onto you and while away the time, and just chicken it out, right? So I'm not talking of it as a rebel, but like when people tell me that, okay, why do you need to do this? Why do you need to be an entrepreneur? You can have this comfort. Yes, I get it all the time. But I really want to. I'm very clear that I want to. I really want to do everything that I'm doing. I am not doing it for any other reason except that it gives me great satisfaction. It doesn't give me money. It doesn't give me good sleep. It doesn't give me good health. But I'm still so happy. I can't do without it. You take this away from me and I'm not the same person. तो इतने बड़े जुनून को कैसे छोड़ दूं, right? Now I know that what they are concerned about is also legitimate, right? So it's a conscious choice that I take that fine, I am taking this risk, right? One thing that I would definitely like to mention is what I've trained myself over the years is not to get angry. Not to get angry. Because what we have realized is they are saying right thing, I am doing right thing. तो कौन सही और कौन गलत, राइट? तो जब वो भी सही और हम भी सही, तो आई हैव नो राइट टू बी एंग्री एट देम बाय सेइंग कि वो बहुत रोक टोक करते हैं, रोकते हैं, वो अपना काम कर रहे हैं, राइट? और अगर मैं क्लियर हूं तो मैं मेरा काम कर रही हूँ. So if I have the right to get upset and to blame them or to feel bad about it, then they also have that right, isn't it? How will I feel if they start exercising all of that on me? I'm not going to like it, right? It's going to stop me in my growth, right? Similarly, I have no right to do that, you know? So it's basically doing what we're doing and letting others do what they want to do. And we meet at the dinner table, have a nice dinner, and then get to work.
There's something I would like to add to Sonia. Sometimes when we get all of these questions and all of these criticisms, what I did, a lot of colleagues had to say things. I used to write them down and ask myself that question. And if I didn't have an answer, it actually helped me with a question that I could never think of. Like, the basic things we all cover. What if it doesn't work out? What if I don't get any profit out of it? What if this happens or that happens? But there are some questions that we somehow ignore. And a third person may be able to, judge it better than we do. So write these questions down, see what answers you have. And if you don't have any answers, in a way, these criticisms are actually adding to your growth instead of otherwise. So yeah, just that.
Beautiful.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Anybody else who would like to ask or just
I have a question to anybody and
okay.
everybody. Sorry, you were saying something. Please go ahead.
No, I was just asking, like, during your journey, and you're still in your good journey, have you ever felt pessimistic about the thing you are going, or about during any criticism you face, your optimism has been changed to pessimism, that no, I cannot do this, or I should just drop it, and something like there would be negative thoughts for sure.
There are. We are all human here. I think there was a time when I used to wake up every day and have these negative thoughts. But I think with time, you kind of learn to, silence them. And not just because you're being oblivion to the facts that maybe you're going through, but maybe because with time you get the confidence to answer them, to shut them down. So I think that happens. That's a very natural thing to happen. It happens to the greatest of people. People question themselves, their art. It's very human. I mean, from where I see it. I'm
Yeah.
sure you have.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Adarsh. I don't think so. There is anybody who doesn't go through the time when we are not in a downtime. It's not a bed of roses for anybody, no matter how privileged you are. सबके level से अलग-अलग challenges तो होते ही हैं, ठीक है? Now, when you say pessimism, and then when you talk about how to convert it to the positive and the good side, I think what you're meaning, and please correct me if I've got it wrong. I think what you mean to say is कि जब negative होता है, when things are not going the way I really want it to go, then how do I make it work? And is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am, exactly. That was my way.
Okay.
What I
So
wanted to ask.
right. So I mean, absolutely being honest, when things are not working out, I am at my worst. I am no different. Okay. Now, whatever that would be, and of course, like when things are not working, also has degrees. Everything is not that big, right? And even the small things matter. So even if let's say a part of the project we have to launch a part of the website, and it has to go on beta tomorrow, and the system failed, crashed, server crash ho gaya, you know, and like it might sound like ठीक है, but no, but it's not ठीक है. There is a whole lot of a process and things lined up for that, and if that doesn't work out, it's a big problem, right? So you can watch me at my lowest at that time, right? But my personal way, and this is no strategy but just a way, my personal ways, when I'm at my lowest, I laugh the most. I have just built that as a survival strategy for myself. You know, I remember going back to whenever it I can remember, but I remember that I did not like my face when I was down. I hated it. I just don't like the space of होता नहीं है मेरे से. You know, I never liked it. So I have made my own survival strategy कि जब कुछ बहुत गड़बड़ हो रहा होता है ना, like things are not working out, you can find me cracking the worst jokes. You know, and I don't know, but it's like a survival. मुझे इतनी हंसी आती है उस वक्त, मुझे इतने मजे आ रहे होते हैं उस वक्त. And now over a period of time I've found that in the most peak pressure time सब लोगों में आग लगी होती है, and I am the calmest person. I'm like, breathe in, breathe out, you know, and it really is, trust me, that moment passes off in not more than 2 seconds. I'm not ऐसे exaggerate नहीं कर रही हूँ, but जब तक उसको बड़ा होता है ना, वो तो घंटों लग सकता है, कोई problem ही नहीं है. The moment I say, okay, and I will crack some crap joke, you know, जब तक मेरा joke खत्म नहीं होता, तब तक वो situation खत्म हो चुकी होती है. So जब कोई चीज इतनी छोटी है तो उसके पीछे इतना इम्पोर्टेंस देना ही क्यों है? Have to get off it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
There's a question.
Okay. Yeah, Ronak is saying he too laughs at his lowest. Awesome. That makes two of us. Akash is saying, what keeps you inspired to do so much things for your passion? That is match my talent. We know artists in this system totally depends on word of mouth, and people are attached with the traditional ways to go out door to door for work. Do you feel the fear that it's not helping and all? Okay, I get the first part of your question, Nakash, but I'm not too clear on the second part. I will answer the first part. What keeps my passion? See, like I said, the passion is the success stories. The passion is the people these 40,000 people that are a part of community. It might be a damn good number for somebody who comes from number, but for me, these are 40,000 believers in something that I said. You know, घर में नहीं कोई believe करता यार, माँ बाप बच्चा नहीं believe करता, you know, कि like, I mean, I will say दोपहर हो रही है and they will say रात हो रही है, right? So like it's so difficult to find alignment, but these 40,000 people, मैंने क्या दिया है उनको, मैंने कौन से उनको शोहरत दे दी है, मैंने कौन से उनको awards दे दिए हैं, कुछ नहीं, right? There is a promise, right? And there is hard work, and there is work that sequentially that they're seeing and they are believing, right? This is what's inspiring. I don't know for many people, but for me, finding alignment is very important. Like हिंदी में बोलते हैं मुझे सबको साथ लेके चलना होता है. That's my nature. Right? I can't say कि तुम अपने रास्ते जाओ मैं मेरे रास्ते जाऊंगी. That's not me, right? तो ये जो 40,000 लोग मेरे पीछे खड़े हैं ना, you know, वो भले ही अपने ऑब्जेक्टिव के लिए खड़े हैं, लेकिन बुलाया तो मैंने ना, मैच में टैलेंट तो मैंने बनाया ना, मैंने बोला कि ऐसा करूंगी, so they believed in me. Wow, that is what that doesn't let me sleep. I gotta keep doing whatever I promised that. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, ma'am.
That was beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Indeed. I would like to call upon Syed now for the vote of thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ramsha. So now we have reached the end of this insightful session. A heartfelt gratitude to everyone who joined in, especially our speakers, Sana ma'am and Sonia ma'am, who took out time from their busy schedule for this event. And it was indeed very enriching experience. A special thanks to the wonderful audience as well. So we are delighted to have you guys around here. And do not forget to fill out the feedback form as well, because we will improve ourselves for the next event. And thank you so much everyone for joining, and happy Women's Day.
Thank you, Syed, for that.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you for being such great audience and listeners. Thank you, Ramsha.
Thank you, ma'am. Both of you are very inspiring. A lot of things that you talked about, I've also faced them. And I think a lot of people do that, irrespective of gender, just in a general thing, and just a lot of takeaways. Thank you so much.
Lovely.
Thank you. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you. It was great meeting you,
I know,
all of you,
Sana.
and hopefully
Absolutely.
we can meet in person someday.
Yes,
And
we
same
will.
goes for Ifra, Ramsha, all of you guys. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
so kind and for
Thank you.
thinking I'm worth sharing the panel.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
It's an absolute honor. It's an absolute honor. Thank you, Ifra.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sana ma'am and Sonia ma'am. It was a pleasure working with you, and it is an honor for ESL to have you ladies here, and you guys are truly inspirational for us. So, like it was a really wonderful session for us, and you answered all our questions irrespective of speaking for so long. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for the good work, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much. And all the best, guys. Hope you guys go to college and enjoy Jamia as it is.
Give me admission there someday, please.
They should call you in college for a live session.
For a test.
Yeah.
No, jokes apart, but thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye,
you.
All
guys.
Bye
right,
bye.
bye bye.
Bye.